Hello and welcome to the second lecture of this lecture series on AI. These lectures are structured into small bite-sized portions, mainly so that it is easier for you all to understand, and also it's easier for me to prepare these lectures. So let's uh, get on to today's topic, exciting uses of AI. So I must admit that the title is a little bit misleading because I want to discuss the whole idea of excitement around AI, not necessarily the exciting uses of AI. So let's have a look at this paragraph. It says, "It is not matter producing material effects, but matter which thinks, reflects, reasons, and calculates and executes all the most difficult and complicated arithmetic operations with a rapidity and infallibility which defies all the calculators in the world." So, as you probably have guessed when I reached the end of this paragraph of the sentence, this talks about a calculator. So this was actually published in a magazine in the 1800s. So this person, this reporter, the journalist, is talking about this thing here, the arithmometer, which is basically a mechanical device that could do calculations. So that person was excited by this calculator, but is a calculator considered AI? So by today's standards, definitely no. But in 1800s, maybe they thought this new invention was so cool that it almost could think. It could think, reflect, reason, and calculate. I don't know whether this could actually think. I probably couldn't think, reflect, or reason. But depending on that context, where there were no calculating machines, this probably was something that could think about these calculations and reflect and reason. So this is something we have to keep in our minds when we talk about exciting uses of artificial intelligence, because of the way we define artificial intelligence makes the difference between what's exciting and what's just expected. So first, let's see whether we can apply the principles of a simple reflex agent to a calculator, right? So as we discussed in the last video, we know that a simple reflex agent can perceive its environment, then based on a set of rules can act on it, right? So let's say the environment is someone demanding add 4 and 5 together. So this calculator is an agent that senses through let's say the sensors are the buttons. So 4 plus 5, these are the buttons that were pressed by the environment. So the agent senses that, okay, the environment needs me to add these two, and so that's what the world is like now. So if we are to say the world requires me to add these two numbers, and what action should I do now? So it has rules, and based on these rules it knows that 4 plus 5 equals 9. So, and it knows the answer, and what action should I do now? Okay, through the effectors. Effector in this case is the screen of the calculator, where you'd display a number 9 like this. So it gives back to the environment. So you can see that a calculator is also an agent. Whether it's intelligent or not, it's up to you to decide. So this brings me into the next idea I wanted to talk about, is what is exciting and what is not. So there's like several ways of thinking about this, and one thing which has been discussed for a while is the concept of weak AI versus the concept of strong AI. So because we can't really say that a calculator is not AI, what we can say is, okay, it could be AI, but it's weak AI. So what's the definition for weak AI? So it's focused on a narrow problem. So the calculator can do like maybe addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So it's only acting in a very narrow field, and not as intelligent as a human. So because humans can do other things, but the calculator can only do calculations like addition, subtractions, etc. And also in a human would be able to understand something like, let's say, add salt to water and it results in salt water. A calculator can't do that. So a human can understand context and other things which is beyond the scope of an action, and humans are adaptable. So let's now look at strong AI. So we say that a strong AI can apply intelligence to any problem in general. So this is a very broad statement, but like we are still discussing the ideas behind artificial intelligence, right? So can apply intelligence to any problem in general. So this is a very human kind of thought, right? So humans can apply our intelligence to many problems in many different fields. We can translate our experience from a specific domain into a different domain, and so this is what we are talking about. And then we say that as intelligent as an average human being. So we are talking about machines that is equivalent to an average human being. So like this could mean quite a lot, because humans have a variation of intelligence, right? And some humans are good at some aspects and the others not so much. So this is also a very broad statement. And then another statement which says that machines that are even more intelligent than humans. So again, quite broad, but the overall theme here is that we have very big expectations out of strong AI. And also, like, perhaps the biggest expectation here is that strong AI has a consciousness, sentience, and mind. So probably now, like, looking at this, you would be thinking, okay, like, so strong AI probably doesn't exist yet, right? So are there any machines that can apply intelligence to any problem in general, like any, as in like any given problem? So this probably does not exist in the real world, but we can say that this is an aspiration that we have. We have an aspiration to make intelligent machines that can be as good as we are, or even better than we are. So this is sort of the end goal of AI. And this is an interesting idea that as AI progresses, the goalposts of AI moves forward as well. So what was considered to be intelligent 10 years ago is not that intelligent anymore. So for example, I'll go through this text first. So we call this the AI effect. So as AI becomes more mainstream, what's considered machine intelligence is moved to the non or weak intelligent category. Right. So in 1800s, that journalists considered the calculator to be able to think, reason, resolve, some of these ideas. So that article considered the calculator to be intelligent. However, now we don't consider the calculator to be an intelligent tool, or a smart tool. Like even the mobile phones of uh, 20 years ago are not like smart. Like we only have smartphones now, but when even better phones come to the market, our previous phones become dumb phones. So that is the AI effect. So I have a couple of illustrations here. So this is a washing machine. So like there's like some, you can see that there's if I can zoom in, so there's this complex controls here. So maybe some of you may remember that a period when like there were like fuzzy controls on washing machines. So fuzzy controls were it was a way of intelligence. And then on the other side, I have the Apollo 11, which was sent to the moon in 1969. Yeah, I think so. I should have looked up this before the lecture, but yeah. So Apollo 11 probably didn't have fuzzy control, and it probably had very straightforward rules. So this, by today's standard, is not intelligent, but it achieved a great feat. This, while like by today's standard, is again not very intelligent, but like back in, maybe this was around like 1990s or early 2000. So this was like kind of intelligent. So you can see how this whole idea of moving parts of AI is something we have to consider when we talk about what are the exciting uses of artificial intelligence, right? And I think something I forgot to mention in these slides is like when we talk about artificial intelligence, then we also have natural intelligence. So this natural intelligence is the intelligence in the domains of humans or animals or plant life. So we still haven't been able to create machines that are intelligent as even like some of the animals, maybe as intelligent as plants, but who knows. Plants again can probably adapt to different scenarios, to unexpected scenarios, while even our most intelligent applications are yet unable to adapt to unexpected scenarios. So which brings us to the bleeding edge AI. So bleeding edge AI means what is at the very edge of the progress of artificial intelligence. So I have just quoted some of the ideas from a news article, which I'll quote the news article in the video description. So what are some things we think would be the bleeding edge ideas, the next trends that are emerging in artificial intelligence? So to tie this up in the previous topic, I'll consider this one first: autonomous systems. So autonomous cars are becoming a thing, but it is still not really capable of handling unexpected situations. So maybe you have heard in the news that there were a couple of accidents, fatal accidents involving autonomous vehicles. So they this is bleeding edge AI, but still not really good at dealing with unexpected situations. So what are these other things? So edge training is um, something coming up. So what do we mean by edge here is let's say, so we have sort of, let's say this is a control station, and we are remotely connected to something here. Okay, like, so this is sort of public facing entity. So let's say this is a video camera. So this is a CCTV camera. So what would have happened is, we would capture the video from the CCTV camera and send it to our server, and in the server we would be analyzing the facial features, etc. So maybe you heard, like in China they use a facial detection system in all the public CCTV cameras. So that would happen back here in the server, right? And like all the processing and the training happened here back in the server. But what if we can do it at the edge here, like on the other side? So if we could do the processing here, which we can do right currently, if we can do the processing here and only send the necessary information back to the server, we can circumvent a lot of privacy issues, for example. And the bleeding edge idea is that, could we train our artificial intelligence here as well? And so by doing that, we are only ever getting the aftermath of the results. So this could possibly process the information, train an artificial intelligence agent, and get the results and send the results back to our server. So this is what we call edge training. So that's something which might become a trend in the coming years. And then we have smart cities. So that's something again coming up in this decade, where we have interconnected cities where like everything is smart according to today's definition. So you probably would have heard of transport networks that are interconnected. So it's like the bus knows when the trains arrives at the train stations, or the bus times itself. So like, of course, these are driverless buses. So all like this kind of things could be happening, and other aspects of the city could be smart, like it could be detecting the amount of harmful particles in the air, and then activating air filters if necessary. And so the scope of smart cities is quite large. And then we have another thing, AI for policy making. So governments are looking into using AI in the governance. So several countries, especially the European Union and Singapore, they have already come up with guidelines for use of AI in their governance. So this is also something that we will probably see in the coming decade also. So we would no longer need policymakers or parliamentarians to take the decisions. They will set the guidelines, and AI will make the policy decisions, and they would be probably better at identifying what is fair for everyone, So we'll talk about this later when we talk about ethics of AI. But what I wanted to show is that bleeding edge AI is probably AI that will affect our everyday lives greatly in the coming decade. So this is again an indication that a knowledge about artificial intelligence is important, not just to make new things with artificial intelligence, but also to be able to interact with artificial intelligence that we will be facing in everyday life. For example, even like today, like if you use a social network like Facebook or Twitter, you meet AI. Like there's a an algorithm, like you may hear that, oh, there's the Instagram algorithm or the TikTok algorithm. So this is an AI, and it tells you, or it suggests you what to watch, and by doing so it is able to affect your thinking pattern in a way, or like it provides you content to watch it. Like you are no longer choosing, okay, I will watch this video and then this one. No, like it is an artificial intelligent agent is selecting what you're watching. So these are the realities of the present, but also this will become even more of a reality in the future. And if you don't understand how the AI works, that means you sort of lose a little bit of your own agency in a way. So it is important that we understand these things. So these are the exciting and sometimes concerning uses of artificial intelligence. And I think the next video would be on exploration of different topics of AI. Like, so we're finally coming into more theoretical aspects, but it is always important to have an overall idea or a holistic idea of what we are learning. So I'll see you in that video, and thank you very much for watching.